The prize of the play-in tournament is here. Steph Curry and the Warriors against LeBron and the Lakers. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Ben Pickman. So, Ben, who you got? Steph and Golden State or LeBron and the Lake Show?
You know, Robin, the Lakers are justly favored. They're correctly favored going into this game, but I'm actually going to take the Warriors in this one-game play-in game scenario. You know, there's still questions about the status of Anthony Davis and LeBron James, how healthy they were, and it wasn't that long ago, just about 2.5 weeks, that this Lakers team lost 3 consecutive games to the Kings, Wizards, and Raptors, so there are some questions there. Defensively, we talk a lot about the offense for Golden State, but defensively is where they're really stout. They were a top 5 defense all year, and since April 1st, they've actually had a better defense than the LA Lakers, and of course, then there's that Curry factor on offense, and we know that in a one-game scenario, he certainly has the firepower to light up any opposing defense, even one that is as stout as the Lakers. So Golden State, not really a great matchup for the Lakers. Certainly, I wouldn't pick them necessarily in a 7-game series, but in a one-off, you know, I'm going to say Golden State pulls off the upset, pulls off the shocker, and gets themselves into the playoff draw before LA does, of course.
Look, Steph Curry's almost as dangerous as anyone in a one-game scenario, and you're correct. The Warriors have played better basketball down the stretch. You know, Draymond Green has been the Draymond of old. They've gotten more people involved in the action as well. But how do you counter the idea of LeBron James? And I know this isn't technically an elimination game, but in those sort of situations, he comes through time and time again. I have questions about that high ankle sprain and his health just like you do, but not enough for me to say, you know, I'm not picking with him when the chips are on the line.
Yeah, no, I do still think the ankle is a concern or could be a concern, and we don't really know how Frank Vogel is going to play this matchup, right? Is he going to treat it like a Game 7? If it's a really competitive game, say it's 2 points down in the final 4 or 5 minutes or heading into the fourth quarter, is LeBron playing an entire fourth quarter and going to end up with 44 minutes in this game, you know, leading into the postseason? Or is Frank Vogel going to take a more cautious approach and maybe sit LeBron to enter the fourth quarter and play him, you know, 34 minutes, 35 minutes? So I don't really know how these coaches are going to handle it. It's one of the things that's going to be really interesting in this play-in game is, do they handle it like a Game 7, or do they recognize that even if we lose on Wednesday night in this play-in game, if you're Steve Kerr or Frank Vogel, we still will have another opportunity to make the playoffs. That game would, of course, be more like a Game 7. You'd see a LeBron or a Curry play almost the entire game if they had to, but I don't know if we're going to necessarily see that approach on Wednesday night. I just think that's one of the big questions that kind of looms over this play-in tournament more broadly.
Well, look, I don't think you want to put yourself in a situation where your season is on the line in one game. And I think the Lakers will do what they can to avoid that. Look, you have reasonable questions. They haven't played so well with Drummond. But what happens when they go to Anthony Davis at the 5, right? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, October, that this team was the champions of the world.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why the Lakers are justly favored, and it's why the Warriors, besides Kevon Looney, are going to have their hands full trying to guard AD and Andre Drummond and LeBron. But in this one-game scenario, Robin, like I said, anything is really possible, and I think Steph Curry and a combination of the Warriors' defense more broadly does still have the firepower to pull off a shocker and put themselves into the postseason bracket.
Hey, I appreciate you, going out there and putting yourself out there. A pick man from Ben Pickman.